वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः। एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास्ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यमव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम्। सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धया ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषामव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिर्वाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परा अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धरता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्। मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव हत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि। अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी। सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः। अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः। समः शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः। तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेता स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः। ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। उपस्थित भगवत भक्तों के रूप में मेरी अपनी ही आत्माओं, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता भगवान के मुखार बिंद से निकली हुई अमर वाणी है। और जो भी जीव श्रद्धा सहित इस अमर वाणी को धारण करता है, वो जीवत्व को छोड़कर ईश्वरत्व की प्राप्ति करता है, इसमें कोई संशय नहीं है। ये जीवात्मा चाहे जिस देश में रहे और चाहे जिस भेष में रहे, गीता सबका सब काल में समान रूप से कल्याण करने वाला एक अनुपम एवं अलौकिक ग्रंथ है।
Satmanam Namavatmadam Natmanamavasadaya pashyati savatra savam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami saja me na pranashyati. Bhagavad Gita Vishwasa Sahita नर परता और अपराधा है प्रभु दर्शन कर परिवार सहित भवसागर से तर जाता है इसलिए सदा सत्संग करो इसलिए सदा सत्संग करो सत नियम भंग मत कभी करो भगवान तुम्हारे अंदर है नित नाम हरि का रिया करो नित नाम हरि का लिया करो. You can now slowly and gently open your eyes and know that you are a unique and beautiful spiritual being of pure consciousness, and all you have to do is to shine brightly, and you'll be helping the world and the universe. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev Maharaj, stay blessed.
जय श्री कृष्ण, जय गुरुदेव।
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev. A warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for being with us tonight. I would now like to hand over I'm sorry, I'm a little lost. My mind is somewhere else. I had lots of problems with my hearing today, but I'd like to invite Gurubai Joshiji to please take it over from here. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev, all of you. It's always wonderful to get together, think about talking Bhagavad Gita, think about talking Gurudev. Gives us a nurturing energy. And we are all fortunate that we get together because of our past punya karmas. With that, I request our brother Narendra Kapoorji to please take it from this point and give us some powerful messages. Thank you, Kapoor Sahib.
Jai Shri Krishna to all. Jai Gurudev, my dear Peter ji, my dear sister Geeta ji, my dearest Prasad ji and Joshi ji. It's a divine gathering. It's not our plan. Plan has been made by Guruji that at one time, one day, somebody somewhere will initiate this program and we all will be participants and beneficiaries. Om Geeta Shasnidham Punyam Ya Pathe Priyata Puman Vishnu Padam Vaproti Bhai Shokadi Varjitaha Gita Adhyan Shilasya Pranayam Parasya Cha Naiva Santi Hi Papani Purvajanam Kritani Cha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum Sarvadharma Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshami Ma Shuchaha Yo Mam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamai Pashyati Tasya Aham Na Pranashyami Sa Chamena Pranashyati. Today, with the invocation of the divine mantras from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we are seeking world peace. Peace all over on this planet. There are a lot of things going on, and we seek the mercy. Having said that, today is the day of Baisakhi. It's a very famous festival, especially in Punjab, but in almost all Indian states, they celebrate that in different forms and shapes. And the tradition is, on this day, the farmers, I'm talking especially of Punjab, India, they almost are finished with their harvest and they are celebrating. They dance, they eat, social gatherings, a lot of folk songs. So they celebrate in its totality with a lot of entertainment. And the idea behind that is that the harvest is over and now we celebrate. The other day, I shared with you utmost humility, wisdom in chapter 13, which I want to invoke today, because today is Vaisakhi day. And in that chapter, the essence is Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying that our bodies are fields and we are the farmers. So we should also celebrate. But we can celebrate only that what type of seed we had sown during the course of the year. कर्म कैसे किए हमने वही फसल हमको काटनी पड़ेगी. So if we were qualitative with awareness and dedication of Srimad Bhagavad Gita's Gyan, we took care of our karmas in a very selflessness way, then the harvest will be supreme. So this is the day to challenge ourselves that being a farmer, perpetual farmer, as long as we have the existence on this planet, we are the farmers. Daily we are putting seeds. But this day, it's a challenge. It's a day of reflection that now make the balance sheet during 1 year. What type of karma you did? Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, what was the quality? What were your thoughts? So it is just not a celebration for Punjabi farmers, it is meant for all of us, a challenge being a farmer, because the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita dictates that we are the farmers, our bodies are field, and our karmas are the seeds. Are we selective and qualitative in doing our actions? Because actions and reactions are equal and opposite. There's no variation. It's a creation rule. जिसको हम धर्म कहते हैं. Dharma is a value system. So that is why I just wanted to touch this topic, that don't let it go. Accept this challenge. And at our own level, because our journey is solitary, we come alone, we go alone. All this mela and association, they disappear. And we should be very reflective that on a daily basis, what I am doing. So if it is qualitative, you are putting a lot of, because first of all, you have to take, I said many times, until and unless the investment of time is there, that is not our priority. So adjust your time and prepare yourself as a farmer, that what type of actions I am doing on a daily basis. My interaction with social people at home, with friends, because that is where you live. And Bhagavad Gita teaches us, this is the supreme teaching of Bhagavad Gita, don't run away. This is the Kurukshetra. Your home is the Kurukshetra. Now act as a Arjuna under the guidance of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, who is seated in your heart. This awareness will never bring rift between spouses, between children. We will do our duties at our optimum level in a qualitative way. And that is the real jnana of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Our family life must project that this family is fully committed and devoted to the application of Bhagavad Gita, and they apply that jnana. Otherwise, it becomes a theory. And having said that, today I just want to share with you that Santushta Satadan Yogi Yatatma Dhranistaya Mayar Pit Mano Buddhir Jo Mad Bhakta Sa Me Priya. Yasmano Dujde Loko, Lokano Dujde Saya Harsha Marsh Bhayod Dvegai Mukto Ya Sach Me Priya. So let me take this the first, that ये इस संसार में जिसमें हम रहते हैं, we are not contented, and that is a human tragedy. We have so many, one wish is completed and the other is right behind that. The charm and beauty and the satisfaction of the wish which has been granted by the Almighty, it disappears, and we are looking for another one. And this goes and on and on and on, and the contentment disappears. It evaporates in the process. So being a serious student of Bhagavad Gita and devotees of our great masters, Swami Hariharji Maharaj, who infused so much in the dead bodies that we are not standing in front of you, and we can, with the utmost humility, can say that the Gurujis have changed us. So we should practice at our own level the art of contentment. And it can be achieved once we know the process. And the process Bhagavad Gita initiates very clearly. Then minimize your wants. Minimize your wants. Don't multiply it. And that is the only way. That is the only way. There's no other way. And since this wisdom is coming from the lotus lips of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, we must have full conviction. And we should stop at our own level, not to multiply our desires. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Because as we grow, we have been practicing the other way around. We are very expert in producing desires. Even at this later stage, when people are retired, they didn't stop it. They are still wanting, still wanting, still wanting. And it goes on, and we suffer so heavily emotionally and otherwise, we don't get the message. Retirement means to wind up now. Wind up. The other day I gave the example that Raja Dashrath, he saw one gray hair in the mirror while looking at him. And he decided to abdicate and transfer the kingdom to Bhagwan Ram. It didn't happen, but that is another issue. But that was how the wise people used to do that. And Bhagavad Gita says that from the rooftop, that stop it, don't multiply your wishes. Don't multiply your wishes. If you want to wish those things which are the production of sattvic state of mind. Become selfless and then wish. And then that is the miracle. That we don't do. We are very expert in selfishness. All our actions are self-centered. And that is the source of our suffering. It's a tragedy. You look at the people, long faces, they don't smile. The other day I gave the example that if Bhagwan Shri Krishna is seated in your heart and he's taking your picture, that is called Chitragupta, the entity or the person who is taking your picture secretly, not telling you. So if you have the conviction that Bhagwan Shri Krishna is seated in my heart and he's taking my picture perpetually, forever, moment by moment, what is wrong with me? Why don't I laugh? What I am waiting for? Because I don't believe that. I just repeat it. The people who believe, their faces are broad smile. And when you smile, smile is contagious. They make the society more pleasant. So this is the real, actual application of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. These small things should be inhibited in our personality. We should try to imbibe these qualities in our personality. And then we become the serious student of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The person who will listen to you, who will look at you, he or she will say, wow, it is real miracle. And it happens. अभी हमने महाराज जी का प्रवचन सुना, कितने लोग बैठे थे, हमने कई अटेंड किए. जब सत्संग होता था, तो it was a miracle. People later on they may forget, but at that moment in time they were cemented in their attention. Nobody dared to get up and go away, because that is what Maharaji was. So we should also imbibe those qualities in us, because we give to the society only what we have. If we don't have, we cannot borrow and give. So we should try at our own level. This particular verse which I just share with you, minimize your wants and get the art of contentment. Contentment is divine. And you get this golden opportunity to connect yourself to the divine forces. When we do certain divine actions, invisible divine forces help us. But we must be connected to the divine plug. I must know where is the plug and where my energy can be tapped. So with these thoughts, I will not take much time. I will give time to my dear friend Prasadji. Let me repeat myself with utmost humility that today was the Vaisakhi day, and farmers especially, they call it the Farmers' Day, and we are all farmers. A thought came to me this morning, and I know from where it came up, and then chapter 13 came up. So I am sharing with you with utmost humility that we should also imbibe this quality with awareness. We are farmers, our bodies are field, and select your quality of karma as a form of seeds, so that next year, when Vaisakhi comes, you have a very beautiful harvest. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev, and back to my dear friend Joshi. Jai Shri.
Joshiji, unmute yourself. Joshiji.
We are definitely needing the practical way of application of Bhagavad Gita, and one should remind us again and again, for that's always thanks to you, how to use, what to do, how to apply Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. One thing I want you to share today, which I have shared before, we are all the products of Vasana. Many lives we have gone through, and we are taking birth as a result of karma, which converts into Vasana. And we are all different. Everything is so different. We are uniquely different on the face of the earth. And here we start taking the same thing in our mind of which we are created, and we start doing karma. And every day we keep doing the karma and keep creating vasana. And that's the result of exactly what we have been doing, knowingly or unknowingly. So whatever is happening in our life is our creation, and absolutely there is no reason to cry on it. You asked for it, so you got it. But then comes Sadguru in your life. And I was in a satsang where a very senior guru was there, and he said one thing, Guru bhagya badal deta hai. What he meant was, Guru can change the direction of your vasanas. And when that direction changes, your destination is coming earlier, sooner, easier. So there is nothing to repent for anything that happens in our life. And if we can understand and master it, every moment will be the moment of happiness, because this is what you did to get it. So nothing to worry, nothing to be jumping, accept it. And one other master said, he was a European, came early age in India, and he stayed there. And we called him Sunya Bhai, Mr. Zero. So I asked him, Sunya Bhai, say something. And he mentioned at every moment, wherever you are, what you are thinking is exactly the way you are supposed to be doing. And give it to God. If you put it in the positive, spiritual way, you are happy. If you say, why me? Then obviously we know the answer. At this moment, I request for esteemed Dr. Bhagavad to please take it all the way to the end. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you very much indeed, Gosiji, and everybody. Jai Shri Krishna to everybody. We will start with the prayer to Bhagwan. Vansi vibhushita kara navnir dabhat pitambara darunabimba phaladarosta Purnendu sundara mukhat Arvinda netrat Krishnat param kimapi tattvamaham na jane ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Divine souls, we have been discussing since the last several weeks that one of the most important verses in the Gita, verse 24 of chapter 4. Today, I wish to summarize whatever we have been talking about in this connection for the last few weeks. First thing we mentioned, that this particular verse depicts the highest Advaita philosophy, non-dual philosophy. That means there are no two entities. But as we mentioned, it is not easy to realize that, to even understand that one reality. So we take a step behind and consider two entities. First, that is the stage one, and that is the Sankhya-vad. There is Prakriti and Purusha. We are more familiar with these terms, and we understand to some extent the body, and that there is something called Atma, the imperishable one, while the body is perishable. We went into some constituents of the body, the gross, subtle, and causal, and realized that in the subtle body, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, these are the four components of something called Antahkaran. And the importance of Antahkaran, we realized that this is the medium which receives the light from Brahma, and it has the ability to infuse this light or the potential or the power of the light into the whole body. We realized that there is something called Atma, but that Atma can be discussed in the way of the supreme consciousness that is all over the world, all in entire universe, and that in the body, which is unconditioned consciousness, that is the witness consciousness, while that witness consciousness which enlivens the body, then the consciousness that prevails all the body is the reflected consciousness. So there is supreme consciousness, there is this witness consciousness, Atma, Aham Atma, Guda Kesa, Sarva Bhuta Sayastita, and then there is this reflected consciousness penetrating throughout the body and making it enlivened. But then, do we really realize this? Do we really understand or realize? We always talk about the sharir mera hai, main hu, main और मेरा संसार, मेरा संसार, इसी में लगे रहते हैं. We are always involved taking care of the body. We think that everything is this. How much we realize that there is Atma? Well, it is Manusyanam Shastresu Kaschit Yatate Siddhe Yatadamapi Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tattvataha. Very few among millions even consider trying to look into this tattva in us, within us. And among those, only few who can really realize this. But doesn't mean that we should not take a step to move forward and try to understand. We have to take a step in the spiritual path to be able to understand that. Now, why it so happens? Why, even though theoretically we realize everything, one is not able to have the grasp of the difference between the Atma and the body. So there are two main things, two main points which one should consider to see the reason behind our not able to understand ourselves, the body, the distinction between the body and the soul. The problem lies in the mind, that is Antahkaran, and then there is remedy, which Bhagwan has mentioned throughout Bhagavad Gita. There is no chapter where Bhagwan has not talked about mind, talking about the problems and the remedy. Many different ways and means have been told to us. It is for us to take those knowledge, take those understanding which Bhagwan is telling as to the cause of our ignorance, not misunderstanding or not understanding, and what are the remedy which one should take to remove that. Now let us take one part. One is what is called Chitta Mala, that is impurity of mind. The mind is not pure. And it is because of the impurity of mind, we are far away from Brahma or Atma, which is within us, that it is hiding, that impurity is hiding the reflection of that, the Brahma onto the Antahkaran. So that is impurity, and it is because of that we play according to the tunes of various impurities in the body, the desire, the anger, the greed, all those. So remedy has to be, if there is Chitta Mala, the remedy is Chitta Suddhi, that you purify it. And that purification process is through Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the first step. And this is the step which is most important, to first get rid of this mala in the mind. And Jagyartha karma is the only karma which gives you the purity of mind. Impurities is removed by performing Jagyartha karma. We have known about that, we have read about it. And again, Bhagwan is talking about these, how to go about for removing your impurities through 12 different kinds of yajna. And all those 12, you will see, when we go through this 12 yajna, you will see how deep and how systematically Bhagwan is removing all the thorns from our body. One after another, there are 12 steps, 12 different kinds of yajna Bhagwan has prescribed, and we will go through that from verse 26, 25 to 30. In those verses, all the 12 yajna are described. But before that, I'm trying to prepare our mind as to what we are going to learn through those verses, through the description of all those 12 yajnas. So that is the one to remove the impurity from our mind. Then comes, if impurities are removed, are we able to grasp it? No. Again, there is some problem. What is the problem? There is what is called scattered mind. Your mind may be pure, but still it is the nature of the mind, is fickle mind. The nature, the fickleness of the mind, wavering mind, lack of concentration of the mind is the property of the mind. And the mind cannot get away from its property. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavadridham. Arjuna says to Bhagavan that, Bhagavan, I try to concentrate, I try to hold on to the mind. It doesn't, it gets run away from my control. So Bhagavan says, yes, Arjuna, what you are saying is absolutely correct. That mind is fickle, mind is wavering, mind runs away. But Avyasena kaunteya vairagena grihjate. So that comes later on. We will come to that, how to get control of this vikshepa, that is the scattering of the mind, how one is able to control that vikshepa will come. And the remedy that comes is upasana and meditation. When at the moment, with impurity of mind, as long as there is impurity of mind, you may try whatever you want. You will find the moment you sit for meditation, your mind, it doesn't even 1 second, 5 seconds you can hold on to, allow the mind to stay where you are. If you are concentrating on the Lord's feet and reciting mantra, your rosary will move. the hand movement is there. You may close your eyes. You may be concentrating on the feet of the Lord, but very few, it doesn't take a long time. Only after a few seconds, you are elsewhere, somewhere else. Then you realize, oh my goodness, what happened? So you come back again. So that is the practice you have to do. But the reason is, why is your mind running away from the feet of the Lord? The running away from the feet of the Lord is because of those two, chitta mala and chitta vikshepa. So if you do not control your mala, if you do not take away your impurities, you will not be able to really meditate, that what is called meditation. You will not be able to put your mind and concentrate for more than few seconds, but that is not meditation. So for meditation, you have to practice all the 12 yajna, which we will come to that later on, to be able to purify your mind, and then only you can perform upasana and meditation, so that the fickleness of mind is controlled and you are able to sit and at least be at the feet of the Lord for some time. And that practice you can enlarge, you can go on, and then again you sit on the meditation, you will find yourself at the feet of the Lord, and you will be able to concentrate and be there. That is required only after purity of mind is there. Then there is a stage when you are able to move on to the stage 2. That what we are talking about. Stage 1 is the duality. When you come to this stage, upasana and meditation, then you are ready to move on to the stage 2. And when you are on stage 2, then Sravanam, Mananam, and Nidhyasanam will come automatically, and you will be able to one with them. So what is this stage 2, what you're talking about? As I mentioned at the beginning, this is Advaitavad. Then at the stage 2, what one realizes, there is nothing else but all is consciousness. The world is an appearance in it. There is this world appears on the substratum, which is the Brahma. Everything is Brahma, and whatever there in the world is just a swapna, an imagination, built up on the substratum. It has the basis of substratum, but everything else is appearance. As we learned in verse 7, chapter 7, Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. I don't want to explain this verse. You're all very much knowledgeable in this. You understand this. Everything is suta, suta, suta. You may call it money, you may call it garland, you may call whatever it is, but there is nothing but sutra in it. And that realization that there is only one and nothing else. Beyond that, there is nothing. I have just given you this gold ornaments. We all know that. We have heard this before and we know that. Ornament are many designs, size, shapes, weight, and all those things. But the real thing in that is gold. In gold exists everything made of gold. In ocean, there is water, waves, and everything all are just many appearances in the ocean. So is the wooden furniture made of wood. In wood lies all the furnitures. Everything else is just basis of all the woods. In the screen, there is a screen. You can play tragedy, you can play comedy, and whatever film you are playing, they are all appearances. But the substratum is the film, is the screen on which all the films are projected, and you are able to see many varieties of film on one screen, and that is Brahma. That is what one has to realize. I just mentioned one point here. Swami Vivekananda, he used to travel. He had traveled in USA and also in UK, and he used to frequently go to UK in England. And their family, the Hale family, where Mary Hale became his disciple. And when Swamiji went back to India, she used to write to him, Swami Vivekananda, and exchange thoughts. And she was very close to him. So whenever he wrote, Swamiji used to reply. In one of her letters, she wrote to Swamiji that all is God. Now I am able to realize all is God. Swamiji replies back, Mary, God only is, rest is not. See the difference between that? When we say all is God, there is one statement, this uniformity of God in that. But there is a possibility that anything else can be not God. Swami says, God only is, rest is not. Yo mam pasyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pasyati tasyaham na pranasyami sa cha me na pranasati. That is the realization. There is nothing exists but Brahma, Brahma, and Brahma alone. This is what this verse is talking about. Brahmaraparam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutem hudam, Brahmeva tena gantabyam, Brahma karma samadhina. All these 6 components, everything are diverse, but Brahma exists everywhere. There is this substratum which has to be constant, never ending, unlimited, beyond all concept, and that is Brahma. The substratum and its superimposition, we have several times we have known about the rope and snake thing, that rope is the reality, snake is just an appearance on that. So this is realized by those one who are enlightened. Even though they are engaged in the world, those are sthita pragya. We have learned in chapter 2, sthita pragya. Those who are sthita pragya, they are able to realize the presence of Brahma everywhere, even though they are engaged in the activity of the world. The experience of Brahma, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, the realization that everything is a Brahma, Sarvam Khalmidam Brahma, Chandogya Upanishad talks about, and each and every Upanishad has described this universe, this Brahma, the reality is one and one alone. Now, when we talk of, let me really go through this before I close. If Peterji grants me a bit permission, just a couple of minutes I will take in this. You see, this mantra is also famous mantra because it has been told that recite this mantra before meal. And many of us, we have been told by Maharaji, and I'm sure everybody practice this. Brahmara Param Brahma. before we take meal, we say this. In our Gita Dham, we have made it a rule that the students, when they sit for meal, they will all recite Brahmavir, and then they will start eating. Why it is so? Why this has been prescribed to be one mantra of importance, which is to be recited before we take our meal. The importance is that we have, as I talked about, 6 components from Brahma. All the 6 components before we take our meal, we have we have all those components there while we are eating. So when they are there, we should at least for a moment think or allow our mind to think that whatever fork or spoon or using or even hand we are using for eating, that is the Brahmarpanam. That is the one which is Arpan, which is we are using. Brahmavi, whatever we are eating, that is Brahma. Aham kraturaham yagya, swadhaham ausudam, mantro aham bhajam, aham agni aham hutam. That hutam is also, that offering which is burned, whatever goes in is also Brahma. Brahmagno, the fire in the stomach is Brahma. Aham vaiswanaro bhutva praninam dehamasrita pranapan samajukta pachamayanam chaturvidham. We pray to Bhagwan that whatever we eat, that is Brahma. When it goes into our stomach, that Brahma is there to digest that. Then whatever the person who is eating, I am also Brahma. The bhokta, the one who is eating at that process, is also Brahma. And there is a presence of Brahma everywhere while we are taking meal. Once we do that, at least for that moment, in 24-hour day and night, we are engaged in our work. If we allow ourselves for that moment, consider that whatever we are seeing, whatever we are eating, whatever we are allowing our body to get in the body to get digested, everything is Brahma. Then we will have at least some time to think about that uniform one Brahma, Sarvam Akhidam Brahma. Yes, Sri Krishna will carry on forward again next week. Thank you very much. Jai Sri Krishna, everybody.
Thank you so much, Prasadji. Actually, everything is Brahma. Everything is Brahma. करने वाला, कराने वाला, उगाने वाला, खाने वाला, everything is Brahma. That concept is engrossed in us. We are Brahma. And all the energy and the power of Brahma comes through you. So he will give it to you. Beautiful, so nice. Very clearly mentioned Brahma, 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 no Brahma, Brahma, Ganthavyam, Brahma, Karma, Samadhina. So nice, sir. So nice. Thank you so much. So whatever happens is Brahma. Nothing happens is Brahma. What will happen is Brahma. So let's be free from it. Let it be Brahma's problem. Because we are Brahma. Thank you again. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Geeta Kiran for providing this platform. Enjoy very, very much. And thanks to everyone who joined us today. It was a very powerful discussion from Kapoor Sahib as well as Dr. Prasad. Wonderful. We'll see you soon, of course, on Sunday and again on Thursday. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Guru.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Shri Krishna. Very, very enlightening from all
Jai
of
Shri
you.
Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
You want to say something, Geeta Kiran?
Yes, I'd like to, at the state of mind at the moment, today is a message all arranged from you, from Kapuji, from Dr. Prasadji. They're all combined in one. to shake me up to it.
Okay. Okay.
That
That's
was
good.
that
That's
was the goal.
That's great. Very good.
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone.
Jai Shri Krishna.